The NCAA is quitting.
What?
Got all kinds of stuff
What do you
going
mean?
down. The NCAA quit.
Good.
They gave up today.
Go away.
They raised the red flag, or I guess it's not
Good.
the red flag, the white flag. They surrendered.
We all hate them anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're a stupid organization.
If you haven't seen it, you know, the NCAA said they were going to investigate Tennessee for clear NIL violations. And Tennessee wasn't even like trying to hide them. And so they said, hey, we're investigating you. And Tennessee went, no, you're not. And then NCAA said, yes, we are. And then Tennessee called the attorney general and the mayor and governor and we're like, yeah, we would like to sue the NCAA. And the entire state of Tennessee was like, we're with you. And then Virginia, the Virginia attorney general and the governor were like, we're with you too. And so that lawsuit is ongoing. And today the NCAA was like, yeah, we know we're going to lose the lawsuit. So effectively, as of right now, they are saying they are pausing all NIL investigations and will not start any further NIL investigations. So if you're a collective today, if you're a university, if you're involved in college athletics at all, the NCAA basically just said, there's nothing we can do. It's Thunderdome. Do whatever you want.
Well, we kind of already knew that, though, right? I
Yeah, but at least there was like...
They can't. They have no teeth. They haven't had teeth since the USC thing.
No, but it's like right now.
But they feigned resistance.
Yes, it was like the idea. We all know you can...
had to.
They lifeguarded. You know, they're like, don't run by the pool. Kid keeps running. Don't run by the pool. Kid keeps running.
Yeah, but they are the governing body of record.
Not anymore.
Not if people don't listen to them.
Well, they just said, they literally said themselves, we're out.
Like who started this? Did Will Wade start this when they're like, you're suspended? And he's like, no, I'm not.
It's
or
possibly that Will Wade was the first. And then Jim Harbaugh, Michigan, kind of did this.
Yeah.
But they said, we'll accept your punishment if you stop the investigation. They're like, fine. But Tennessee just was like.
Some people are just thumbing their nose at it like, nuh-uh. Well, it's a trend now.
Tennessee got the entire weight of the state. They got the highest ranking authority in the state, and then the highest ranking attorney in the state, and they're like, we'll just sue you to do whatever we want. And the NCAA folded like a pair of twos. It's kind of crazy. Like, somewhere USC has to just be like, are you effing kidding me right now?
Yeah, they were the last ones that got hit.
Yeah, like, you ended our dynasty.
Did anything ever happen to Miami?
Not really. They got slaps on the wrist over the Shapiro thing. They got dinged a little bit with some scholarships, but nothing like major. Florida State skated. North Carolina skated. Was it Minnesota that had a big athletic or an academic scandal where everyone was doing work for the athletes? Nothing ever happened there. Yeah, it was like USC was the last real one. And we've had, Arizona basketball supposedly was going to get in trouble.
And wasn't the USC thing, it was like all spite, right? Wasn't it just like...
Yeah, so the NCAA...
Lloyd Lake or whatever didn't cooperate? Or
Yeah, so USC knew, but Reggie Bush and his family and a couple others took some cash. I think Reggie Bush was like a couple $100,000 from an agent. And so the agent comes to Reggie and is like, hey, you got to sign with me. And Reggie Bush said, I'm not signing with you. And he said, okay, well, give me my money back. And Reggie Bush said no. And so the guy went to like people at USC and was like, dude, I want my money or I'm going to blow the whistle on this. And some dumbass, like no one affiliated with USC could cut that guy a check for a couple hundred G's to make that go away. And then when the NCAA started investigating, USC didn't cooperate. And so the NCAA was like, all right, well, watch this. And they drilled them.
That hurt them.
They tried with Penn State. Remember they and then Penn State,
right.
they had to walk them back a year or two later.
Because didn't that hit the courts?
Penn State was like, we'll sue. And so the NCAA kind of started backtracking.
Man, the NCAA, rest in peace.
I mean, pretty much.
We hardly knew ye.
Yeah. This was from the board of director. In response to this latest order, this was when there was an injunction by the courts while it worked its way through. He said the NCAA enforcement staff is to pause any current investigations and not begin any new investigations involving third-party participation in NIL-related activities. There will be no penalty conduct that occurs consistent with the injunction while the injunction is placed. He says that the circumstances are less than ideal, and he knows that that's going to cause some concern, but he basically said that there's nothing they can do. And he said this is why the NCAA needs to come up with rules in a meeting room, not a courtroom. And he said that in his own words, saying that they can't win in court. Like none of this stuff holds up to antitrust laws.
Well, we knew that though. Like
Yeah, but it's finally someone
they just held on. They held on for as long as they could.
Yeah.
This is all predictable.
Yeah.
So the question now, it's all kind of boring too. It's like, Jesus, just freaking, can we fast forward to the time when the NCAA is out of the picture and there's a new governing body and there are new cool rules and the postseason format is way better.
This is a big
college
step.
football grows.
This is the first time in the history of the NCAA that they have said, we can do nothing, therefore we will. There's one thing to say that you can't do anything, but it's another thing to admit it and then lay down. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I mean, I just like when I read through this, I realize pausing NIL-related enforcement with these other bylaws are going to cause significant questions on campus. But this is the only practical response to the injunction at this time. We hope that attorneys will work with us to clarify the next steps. Like you're saying, please, someone help us because we can do nothing.
Exactly.
You're like a frightened turtle.
The other thing that's great about, what do you want them to do? I mean, they can't do anything. Here's the thing that's great about this. The faster this happens, the faster we get more cool new rules in place and we can move on.
Yeah.
And stop.
Yeah. Pretending.
Well, just talking about it. It's so, it gives me tired head talking about all the as slow as they move in college sports, it's just like, dude, figure it out. Yeah. Somebody take the reins and go, here's a great idea. Let's all do this. And, and then just get over all this crap.
But isn't it crazy that you can now think how far we've come in the last 3 years? If you are a collective now, you can just call the school and be like, hey, Dan Lanning, what do you need? And who do you need it for? Cool. And then you can go to that kid that the school tells you and how much that kid needs. You can go to that kid and be like, hey, this is how much we'll give you for coming to campus. By the way, we can put incentive clauses in it. We can make it a yearly contract. We can give you these guarantees. You can have performance, like all of these things. You can sign whatever you want. And like no one can do anything. It's kind of crazy. Like think about where we were a couple years ago, even with the Jim Harbaugh stuff, right? Because Harbaugh was claiming it was about hamburgers and like a free hotel room, which we know it was more than that. But it wasn't that long ago that buying a kid a meal or giving him some a few walking around bucks or paying for his parents to fly to a game was like the end all, the be all. And now we're like, you can do whatever you want, and not just the school, but all the third parties too.
Look, I say it's about time. Kids deserve whatever they can get. That's the way it should have been all along. Amateurism is stupid. It's finally crumbling. It took way too long. Just give me some dope football.
I think we're going to get it.
I just want to watch cool football games with Hail Marys and awesome fourth down decisions and controversy. The only thing that's saving me right now, well, two things. There are two things that are saving me as a college football fan. One is that Oregon and Washington made it to the Big Ten, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just awesome. It's going to be great watching them play a Big Ten schedule. I'm very intrigued by that. Where the program is at Oregon is great, and so that right there, saving grace. Because if I'm an Oregon State fan, I'm just demoralized.
Yeah. Or
a Kook fan. And the other thing saving me is that Kansas is actually pretty good, and we're in kind of a conference. So other than that, I'd be out on college football. This is annoying.
It's
annoying. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Because obviously the sport is disrupted and it's different and it's never going to be the same. I get that. I'm actually not opposed to the change. Like I said, it should have been 15, 25, 30, 45 years ago.
You just want the change to happen.
Just get to the end game.
The weird thing is until you break away and you get all these parties to come to the table, you can't have any of that, because that's what the NCAA just said in that statement from the board of directors, saying we need attorneys to help us in meeting rooms, because any meaningful guidelines or rules that you try to put on anyone, you just get sued and you lose.
But what's happening? The NCAA is out. Like, that guy is speaking from this place of, well, the NCAA needs to reform. They're out.
Yeah.
Anybody with a brain can see that.
Yeah.
The question is who takes over now?
I don't know.
Well, we've already seen who is taking over.
Well, the SEC and the Big Ten.
The SEC and the Big Ten are taking over. They're like, oh, okay, we'll put in some new rules.
Yeah, there's a void here, and we'll step up.
So now the next question is do they just that's just the new governing body? Is it the college football playoff, board of directors or whomever that is, or who is it? Because that's really the next question. It's not the NCAA.
I just wonder that unless this becomes a union and it's collectively bargained, I don't, unless you just give the players and the schools everything they want and you have the system where there is no rules and it truly is Thunderdome, which is kind of what we have now. I just don't know how you get everyone on the same page to stop suing. Like, because don't we all agree that there has to be some sort of structure, right, for the long-term benefit of it? But if you keep getting your ass kicked in court, like, there's really no, unless everyone gets together and says, we all agree to this, we're signing it, players alike, I don't know how this happens. I don't know how you get to that point without, like you said, it becoming a full-on, unionized, collectively bargained minor league NFL.
Well, if I know anything about the powers that be in college football, it will take them years and years.
Well, if it takes them years, then
years and years and years.
Buckle up, because you are gonna have.
It's Thunderdome.
Yeah, it's Thunderdome.
So, again, I'm just gonna ignore how kids get on campus. I don't care. I'm happy that Oregon is good. They're the Big Ten, and I'm happy that Kansas is good. Other than that,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't have the answers, and I'm tired. I'm tired of all of it. It's nauseating.
Yeah.